Hi everyone, my name is Vikas. I'm back with a new video. This is the next video in the series of symbol patterns, and it is available under my playlist called C Programming My Way. This is the topic of the video. We are going to work on how to print triangles with C programming, how to develop code to develop these kind of triangles, to print these kind of triangles. As you can see, there are so many varieties of triangles here, and we are going to work on more varieties where you can see there are some missing stars in between the triangles shapes. So you can call them as maybe empty triangles or maybe only border triangles. Okay, and we are also these are some of the challenges I prepared for you. Once you are done with going through how to develop basic triangles, you can also work on these kind of special triangles and may be able to solve them on your own. So let's move on. This is our first problem. We are taking a very basic right angle triangle problem, and as you can pretty clearly see that it also looks very much like rows and columns kind of thing. We will see it in a while. So how to print it in a simple manner? This is the simplest code as we discussed earlier. Any problem, it has to be started with the simplest solution possible and then move ahead with how to make it much better. So this is my simplest solution. Let's analyze the problem. This is our problem, and if we try to analyze this particular situation, you can see that it is having 1, 2, 3, and 4 rows, and there are some columns, right? So we can very clearly say that it is a row by column problem. But there is a problem here. The problem is that this column is not fixed here. That means the first row, there is only one column. Second row, there are two columns. Third row, there are three columns. And fourth row, there are four columns. By columns, I actually mean the number of stars per row is not fixed. So let us analyze this particular problem in further detail. If we try to understand, we see that when row is 1, column is 1. That means for row 1, there is only one column. And so 1 star. When row is 2, the columns are 2 and so 2 stars. When row is 3, columns are 3 and so 3 stars. And when row is 4, columns are 4 and so 4 stars. What do we understand out of this? What do we make out of this analysis? It is that the number of columns per row is dependent on which row it is. So as you can see very clearly, when the row is 1, column is 1, row is 2, column is 2. So the columns are basically dependent on which row it is. To develop such a code for this problem, let us go back to our previous solution. This is the previous solution where we worked on to print a 4x4 star. In my previous video, I touched upon 3x3 star, but this is just another version of the problem where I have just changed the value 3 and 3 here with 4 and 4, and so this particular code gives me the result of a 4x4 star. That is very much straightforward. But let's move on. In this case, I want to change it a little bit. Here I'm having two variables, row and col, with two different variable declarations. Int row, int column, I want to mix them together with a single declaration statement. I'm having one statement for declaring both row and column. Even still, our program is programmer dependent, in the sense, if in future I want to print a 5x5 box or a 6x6 box, or let us say 50x50 box, then this program will not work because the value is fixed here with 4 and 4. That means in future, if I want to print bigger sizes or the smaller sizes of the boxes, I have to change it every time. So let us add another feature to the problem, to the solution, so that it becomes much more generic, so that it works for any size of the box. So I'm adding a few more things to the program. As you can see, I have added another variable called size, and I'm asking the user to enter the box size, and with this variable size and with scanf, I'm reading the value of size, and this size I'm using the place of 4 and 4 in the place of a row for loop and column for loop. So basically I'm just putting the variable name in the place of the values, and so whatever is the value of that is being entered by the user, that value will govern how much size of the box will be printed. Let's try it out. So as you can see, we are having the same program. Let's run this program and see what kind of result we get. Okay, it is asking the size of the box. I am giving, let us say 4, because that is what we have seen. Let us give 3 because that is what we have seen in the last video. It gives me a 3 by 3 star. Let me run this program once again, and it is let's say give a 4, and I have 4 by 4 star, as you can see. And let me run the program once again, and this time let me give a value like 10, and it gives me a 10 by 10 box. That's pretty much cool. So let's develop our program from here onwards. In the last video, I asked you people to do some experiments with this kind of code by changing the values of values here and here. Let us say starting from a bigger number and giving a smaller number here, and changing the update statement in the same way here, here, and here. Or let us say giving a different kind of update statement at a different kind of size, but getting the same result. If you have done those exercises in after going through my last video, uh, you can actually understand that there could be multiple solutions possible for the same kind of code. So let me give you just an idea, a gist of it. Let's say I want the same result by changing this with, let us say, twice the size, but here I want to change it to not update the row variable by 1, but update it by 2. Let us say row plus 2. Sorry. Okay, so I'm updating the row by 2, and I have increased the size by 2. So let us see whether it gives me the result that I'm expecting. Let us say I'm running it for the size of 4. It gives me 4 by 4 once again. So this is just a small demonstration for you to try more and try to understand that there are different ways of getting the same result by just changing this row and column values, the values of initialization and the condition as well as the update, that because that is what governs the number of rows that are going to be printed and number of columns that are going to be printed. Just for your own understanding, let me get it back to just increment operator, and let us say I have not changed the update statement, but I only have changed the condition. Then what kind of result it should be giving? It will not be giving a 4 by 4 because I have not updated this along with this. So let's just see what kind of result you will be getting. I'm giving 4 once again, but as you can see, it is printing not a 4 by 4, but it is printing a 8 by 4 box. That means it is like 8 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows and 4 columns, right? So whatever changes you are making, you have to make sure that you are changing, keeping your end result in mind. As we discussed in the previous few slides, we are going to develop a code which works for printing right angle triangle left oriented kind of design. And for this, we have already discussed that our columns are governed by the current row. That means the number of columns to be printed per row is governed by the current row. So what I'm going to do is I need at least 1 star per row, and so I will be starting from 1. But the number of columns to be printed per row is to be governed by the current row, and the current row is being governed by this variable called row. And so I will be writing this ending this value as a row, and let us see whether it gives me the result that I'm expecting. Okay, I'm giving 4 as the size, and ta-da, we got the result. That's it. So what is happening here, if we try to understand, a row is 1 and column is 1, and here row is 1, so 1 less than or equal to 1, 1 is equal to 1 satisfied, and so only 1 star printed. And then it goes to 2, row gets incremented to 2, and 2 is less than 4, of course, and so again column starts with 1 and 1 is less than or equal to 2 satisfied, and you get 1 star, and column gets incremented, it becomes 2 equal to 2 satisfied, and so you get a 2 star, and then 2 becomes 3 is not satisfied, so you don't get the star, and that's on. If you don't understand how the nested for loop works, go back to my previous videos and please check and come back and see this video to understand how it works. Just as a bonus, let me show you another variation of the triangle that we have seen just now, which we will be covering in another video maybe. So let's modify this with 2 row need to be updated by 2 every time, and I'm not changing the size here. So whatever size I'm going to give, based on that it will be calculating the number of rows. So if I give 4, this row will be repeating for twice, and if I give 8, this row this particular loop will be repeating for 4 times, because it is getting updated by 2 at a time. Okay, let's move on and check it out whether it works the way I am expecting it to work. So I'm giving the value as 4, and as you can see there are 2 rows to be printed, but the number of columns are updated as 3, 1 added by 2, so it is 3 times. If I run the program once again, this time I'm giving the size as 8, it should be printing me 4 rows of values. So let me give 8, and as you can see the number of columns are 1, 3, 5 and 7 for 4 different rows. Okay, this kind of triangle is pretty much beautiful when added with a little bit of extra characters, which we will be seeing in future videos. Okay, so let's go back to the slides. I want you to do a little bit of exercise here. This is the same kind of code that I have shown you earlier in my editor. I want you to do the tracing of this program with the help of this table. Making a habit of tracing the values of any given problem is a good habit, because it allows you to understand how the program works in the background. So whichever value you are giving for size, note it down here, and do some calculation using the table, and the output screen give different kinds of values of your choice. You may also change the values of the update statement or the formula here, do some experiments and try to understand in detail about how this thing works. And in the process, if you come up with any different kinds of designs without actually changing the value here or here, if you are getting different kinds of results which have been not covered in the video, please put it as a comment in under the video. This is another exercise for you. Again, as I told you, do some value changes. Give some bigger value as the starting value, give some smaller value in this area. You also have to change the condition here when you are going from top to bottom, and then you have to convert it, change it into a decrement operator or something which subtracts the value. Do some experiments of your own, and if you come up with something beautiful designs, please update me. After your experiments are over, this is a challenge for you. I'm calling this design steps because this pretty much looks like a step design, and this is the reverse of the program that we have seen. This is just like the upside down design of the same triangle that we have seen. Try to figure out how to get this kind of program, get this kind of result by changing your program. So thank you very much. If you like my video, please like and share it. And if you don't like something, please give it as a comment. I will try to improve myself in the next video. Thank you so much.